But I'm not going to fall out with my blood, with my brother, and have to allow these strangers to come in and dictate how we're going to settle this peace arrangement. Josephus says it was a miserable thing. He says, why? For now we lost what? We lost our liberty, Josephus says. Because from that moment on, Rome is in charge of Judea. They're in charge of Jerusalem. From that moment on, these two brothers that can't get along. We go from John Hyrcanus, who had national sovereignty, beat up the Seleucids, and now we here where Rome is in charge. You see? And I want y'all to look at that word liberty for a second. And look at that word closely. See, liberty is freedom. You see? And Josephus knows about freedom. You see, us black Hebrews in America, we don't know nothing about freedom. We don't know nothing about liberty. You see? If you happy here in America, you don't know nothing about liberty. How can you be happy in a strange land? How can you be happy in a land that don't belong to us? How can you be happy under the rule of another nation that don't always treat us right? How can you be happy when they shooting us in the streets and they getting misdemeanor time for spilling our blood? How can you be happy with that? That's not liberty, that's oppression. You see, but you was born in Babylon. You was educated in Egypt. You see? And so you can't see, God, that this place ain't good for us. As we watch all this stuff go down, God, with Ahmaud Arbery, God, and the shootings, amen, in Indiana, God, my prayer is that our people would have a cry, that we would get desperate. Desperate not only for God, but desperate for what God has for us. Desperate for our own national sovereignty. Can you imagine a place, God, that's Hebrew ran? Where the name of the streets are of Hebrews? Where the movies we watch are of Hebrews? Where the presidents and prime ministers and governors are Hebrews? Can you imagine where we not shot down in the street because of our color, because we all the same color? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being in a class and not being understood because of your ebonics or because of the way you talk? Could you imagine not getting a good grade just because of the color of your skin? Can you imagine not getting a job or being the first to be fired? Can you imagine, God, when a disease come through, a nation that would take care of itself and not only take care of just a part of the nation and leave the other nation to hell in the handbasket? You don't understand liberty. When you understand freedom and liberty, you understand national sovereignty. Our people are too comfortable in Kittim because they was born in Babylon, born in Egypt. He tells us we lost our liberty. And what I'm speaking about is high things to some. Because some of you just want a little place to stay, a little car to drive. But that's not enough. That's not what God has for us. God has something for us more as his people. It's a national identity. It comes with a national sovereignty. It comes with national prosperity and wealth. And that time is coming, Hebrews. And I believe our present trouble, Jacob's trouble right now, is to prepare us, to make us desperate, to make us long, to make us, amen, stop worrying when we run through our neighborhood and we jog. Well, we got to carry our ID, or we got to bring a piece with us, or we got to, you know what I'm saying? We got to, man, I live here, man. See? I know there's some that say that America going to change. Hebrews. You got to understand something. We got to arise. We got to be unified. We got to be a nation. Right? That's the only way we're going to be accepted at the bargaining table if we won. The unity of our national identity will have to be rooted in our Hebrew roots, our Hebrew history. Right? Then we're going to become one. Then we'll be able to come to the bargaining table. Then we'll be able to say, okay, you can stop sending your police in our neighborhoods. We're going to police our own neighborhoods. Then we can say, we don't need your judges putting our boys in jail for longer sentences than our white counterparts. We don't need that. We got judges of our own in our own communities, and we're going to deal with the drug problem, and we're going to deal with the gang problem because we know how to deal with one another and keep one another straight. We're going to deal with our jobless issues by creating our own economy and our own system, and that's when a nation arises. But you got to be tied to Babylon. See? Josephus said at that moment, was the moment we lost our liberty. So we vote in elections. We get all excited about elections. Joe Biden, Donald Trump. That ain't Hebrews up there, man. That's Europeans, though. And none of them people going to take care of us like we would take care of us. Can I get an amen in the house? All excited about this one and that one. We lost our liberty.